Even as countries lie frozen in lockdown and millions world over continue to get infected with the deadly COVID-19 virus, there has been a mad scramble to find a breakthrough that would mark the end of the crippling pandemic. That is, a vaccine. Over hundreds of vaccines are currently under preclinical trials and a few have also entered human trial stage. But people globally have some pressing questions to ask. When will a vaccine for COVID-19 be ready? Which nation will first get the vaccine? How much will a single vaccine cost? What if the world never sees a COVID-19 vaccine like in the case of HIV or even dengue? So far, there is no cure for the COVID-19 infection, which has, as on May 4, 2020, infected over 33,50,000 people globally and killed 2,38,730 people. Without a safe and widely disseminated vaccine, it's hard to imagine life returning to something resembling normal. Here's what we're up against. Viruses work by getting inside the cells your body is made of and then hijacking them. The coronavirus, officially called SARS-CoV-2, first infects the cell lining your throat, airways and lungs and turns them into coronavirus factories that spew out huge number of new viruses that go on to infect yet more cells. A vaccine works by training the immune system to recognize and combat pathogens, either viruses or bacteria. To do this, certain molecules from the pathogen must be introduced into the body to trigger an immune response. Usually, a vaccine takes 10 to 15 years to develop, test, manufacture, and distribute. But with regards to COVID-19, the world doesn't have that kind of time. In January, as soon as Chinese scientists published the virus's genetic sequence, labs around the world got into action. Labs are implementing a new strategy. It involves copying a small section of the virus's RNA genetic code and injecting that into a person, resulting in the host body using a synthetic RNA to produce the viral proteins itself. The biggest advantage of the RNA vaccines is that it can save months or even years to standardize and ramp up the mass production. Researchers suggest that we could get a new vaccine sometime early next year, but it could take a while before it reaches millions world over, which could be late next year. So who gets the vaccine first? Governments are concerned that countries that develop a vaccine would want to provide it to their own people first. Currently, no international body has the power to control the distribution of a vaccine, including the World Health Organization, and there's no global plan of a rollout in place. According to WHO's emergency rules that were put in place during Ebola epidemic, any vaccine should first go to the likes of frontline workers, older and vulnerable population. There's no doubt that millions need the vaccine and so the demand is huge, building pressure on pharmaceutical companies to not chase huge profits. This is a huge concern for governments world over because the fact is that vaccines are expensive to make. Researchers estimate that it could cost the pharmaceutical industry $3 billion to develop, manufacture and distribute a vaccine globally. A vaccine is clearly a long-term and challenging goal. Scientists, meanwhile, are using experimental treatments like plasma therapy and already available drugs like hydroxychloroquine on infected people. The ultimate goal is to stop the COVID-19's ability to spread, reduce transmission, and build an immunity. The world is not there yet, which is why experts say it will take a while before things return to normal, that is somewhere in 2022. While we all wait for science to catch up, let us do our part in ensuring we keep the people most at risk away from COVID-19. Stay home, stay safe, practice hand and respiratory hygiene, and most importantly, stay informed only through trusted sources.